Let's go to Cameron from Calgary. Cameron, you're next on the air.
Hello, David. It's great to speak with you. I've been a member for a while now, and
Thank
I've
you so
enjoyed the
much.
show a lot. I
I
have a
appreciate
very
that.
concise question, so I'll uh, do your request. I want to know what your moral philosophy is.
Broadly, my moral philosophy.
Yeah, exactly. I find moral philosophy kind of lies a foundation into kind of where you fall in the political spectrum. And I was wondering what yours is.
I've never put it together sort of as like a treatise, I would say. So I don't know that I'm prepared to kind of monologue about it at this point. Much of what I'm doing is espousing my moral philosophy in a particular context related to a political idea or a particular issue. So I don't have like an elevator speech prepared on my moral philosophy, I must admit.
No, that's completely fine. As I've been watching your show, I've kind of been trying to figure out kind of what your underlying moral principles are through your politics that you explain on the show. Maybe a more specific question would be, do you have any kind of moral principles that you would say are kind of part of your moral philosophy? So not asking for your whole moral philosophy,
Sure.
merely a part.
Yeah, I mean, as applied, there that's so broad. Is there a specific area where I can apply it to maybe give you a more specific idea, like as applied to economics or as applied to justice, or do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I like having the question broad because it allows kind of to ask for moral principles that you would apply in every situation,
Yeah,
or at least
I'm not
outside
going
of
to be able
situation.
to do that. And the issue with that is you can get into these philosophical black holes where maybe 2 years ago I said something that on some superficial level appears to conflict with that. So I just am not ready to very broadly address that right now.
That's fine. That's fine. Maybe could you to ask more of an applicable question on justice, for instance? What's kind of your moral philosophy regarding that?
I mean, on justice, I think that one of the most important principles is we have to be able to apply context, upbringing, and social and economic realities when we dole out justice. So for me, justice cannot simply be like here's five facts about some individual and something that they did, and that tells us everything we need to know about how the justice system should deal with that individual and that act. I think we have to consider economic realities, educational realities, sociocultural realities in addressing how individuals should be dealt with within the justice system. And that might mean that superficially similar situations might be handled differently and correctly so, if that makes sense.
I completely agree, and that was a very good take. One follow up question with that: when viewing like cases and stuff, and considering that context you were speaking of,
Mm-hmm.
and is that are you kind of saying that because of their experience or their culture or their growing up, that they kind of had less free will in making that decision, which led to a crime, for instance? Is it kind
Using
of
the
a moral
term
free will?
using the term free will specifically is very dicey, but I think we should all be able to understand how one's circumstances would, without a doubt, push or pull individuals in different directions. And it doesn't mean that we ignore personal responsibility. It just means that if we agree that the goal of the justice system is rehabilitation and deterrence, we have to understand and consider those realities when we figure out how the justice system should work.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for the call. That was Cameron from Calgary.